Honestly, at some point the Empire just stopped trying, and if you're wondering what I'm talking about, well, ship names. This is sort of representative of everything the Empire did. At first, it seemed like, hey, we're just gonna change some things, maybe the Senate's a little less important, Palpatine's going to be in power for a long time, but by the end, the Senate is dissolved and the Empire is making Death Stars. So I thought today it would be fun to look at some of the most egregiously evil named ships in the Empire. Before we get into it though, just a quick word from the Eckhart's Ladder sponsor, Vite Ramen. I've been working with Vite Ramen for years now. You guys love the brand and so do I. They love me too, so much in fact that we actually made our own flavor, Massaman curry. Right now it's sold out because it's so damn good, but they've got a ton of other great flavors as well. I'd recommend the roasted soy chicken, and the best part is the meals are really easy to make. I mean, if I can do it, that's a good sign. They're delicious, they're super healthy, especially for ramen, low sodium, low calories, bioavailable nutrients, everything. And you're buying from a small American business which treats their employees really, really well. Right now, you can get 10% off Vite Ramen by going to their website linked in the description, or viteramen.com/EckhartsLadder, and using the code Eckharts. You can also check out the really cool launch animation we did for our new flavor, and you'll also get free shipping in the contiguous USA and some gifts. So again, link down below, use code Eckharts. But let's get back to some Imperial shenanigans. Alright, so most of the ship names I found were Star Destroyers, which is unsurprising given the fact that Star Destroyers are usually the flagship of bad guys in Star Wars stories. They're usually the big-time enemy ship, and they have a reputation to uphold. That's not to say that they have the sole right to evil names. I mean, you'll see Nebulon Bs called the Malevolent, for example. But it's where you see it most often. Now, when naming a Star Destroyer, I think it's proper to use aggression or violence in the name. Bellicose, sure. Devastator, that's something to be feared. I really like the names Adjudicator, Leviathan, Steadfast, even Iron Fist. Yeah, we're hinting a bit at the Empire's authoritarian nature there, but it is what it is. That being said, something like Tyrant is probably a bit too far. And yeah, Tyrant is actually a very famous ship. It was a part of Death Squadron, and it's actually the one we see taken down by Hoth's ion cannon. A Tyrant is literally a violent, bad leader. It's what the rebels would call Palpatine. Serving on a Star Destroyer named the Tyrant would probably give me a "am I the bad guy" moment?
Are we the baddies?
And that's a theme we see a lot, just fully acknowledging how bad and oppressive the Empire is. Another Star Destroyer name? The Subjugator, just like the CIS's class of warships. Now, this makes even less sense for the CIS. To subjugate is to bring something violently under your control. For the CIS especially, they would say the Republic were subjugators. You wouldn't want to name your capital ship that. But I mean, even for the Empire, at that point, you're dropping all hints of subtlety, and I think especially of lost stars. If Sienna Rey had been placed on a ship called the Subjugator, how would she have reacted? Another theme we get is sort of the torture-based names we have. For example, the Tormentor. This one is, I guess, better than Subjugator or Tyrant, but it's still hinting at the fact that what the people in this ship are doing isn't exactly for the greater good. It's torment. Similarly, there's another Imperial Star Destroyer known as the Corruptor, and I mean, this one is less defendable, and somewhat appropriately, the Corruptor would end up terrorizing worlds during the Bacta War. Remember when Azani Isard goes crazy and starts just randomly killing civilians? Well, she launches that bombing raid on the fishing village out of the Corruptor. A particularly evil time in the galaxy was the reemergence of Palpatine during the Dark Empire crisis. At that point, Palpatine fully dropped all subtext. He launched a fleet of planet-devouring superweapons known as World Devastators. That's right up there with Death Star. I think my favorite thing, though, has got to be how Palpatine envisioned a new line of Super Star Destroyers, and they all had really evil names. I'm talking specifically about the Sovereign line, and for those who don't know, a Sovereign is basically someone who rules with absolute power. Anyway, aside from the Sovereign itself, Palpatine's planned ships were known as the Otarch, the Despot, and the Heresiarch. All of these have their own negative connotations. A Despot, for example, is someone I see at least who uses power in a cruel way. Well, the word heresiarch is sort of like the chief of the heretics. These are ones that sound cool, but again, if you're serving on the ships, you gotta wonder, am I the bad guy? At this point, though, Palpatine's influence was ultimate and pretty much everything was being corrupted by the dark side of the Force. So one thing that I find funny is that the New Republic had a PR department, at least apparently. I've talked about before how they refused to use World Devastators because of the negative perception of them, despite the fact that World Devastators were incredibly powerful and they had captured some. But that definitely continued when it came to ship naming. They were always calling things Alderaa's Protector or Protector of the Weak, whatever. And we actually saw this in particular when it came to captured Imperial ships. Many would be renamed. For example, we have the Mon Mothma, the Anakin Solo, the Elegos Aukla, all of these named after heroes of the Rebellion or the New Republic. And these may have been newly built ships, but some of them were also probably captured and refit. But the Tyrant, for example, which we mentioned earlier, was captured and renamed the Rebel Dream. It would become the flagship of Leia. The Accuser would become the Emancipator. The New Republic even refused to use the term Superstar Destroyer because it scared the Republic, so they called their new class of very large ships Star Defenders. So yeah, I hope you guys found this topic interesting. I know it's a bit shorter than usual, but that's all I got for you. Until next time, be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.